As you can see, I moved the rear end forward, and I moved it forward 44.5 inches for what that's worth. It just so happens that every one of these cross members has the exact same hardware, and it matches perfectly with the spring mounts that are here. So all I had to do was unbolt the spring mount from where it was located before. Now, this is what I used to drill my holes. Let me get that for you. So what I did is I put this piece of cardboard here over top of these holes. I put it straight down on the frame, got it all nice and level, got it up nice and tight against the frame, went to the back side with some black spray paint, and I sprayed through the holes, and that left the pattern. I went inside, knocked the holes out, came back out, moved the pattern forward to where the holes for the front mount that was back there lined up with this position, and then came in on this side with some silver spray paint and painted all the holes, which left them in perfect alignment with where they needed to be for moving the axle forward. I hope I explained that well. I'm not really all that great at explaining shit. I can explain it well in my head, but it doesn't come out my mouth right sometimes. So anyway, that's how I did that. That's not in the video. I should have filmed it, but it was late and I was hungry, so I kind of knocked it out really quick. And then the next day I came and I drilled the holes, which of course you see that in the video. That's pretty much it in a nutshell right there of how I actually laid out all the holes. I made that pattern because I have 3 of these trucks to do. It's because all the trucks are exactly the same. They're all C5500 GMCs. They were ex-U-Haul trucks. They're all going to have 16-foot dump bodies, and they're all going to be flatbed dumps. I may or may not put sides and tailgates on, but all right, so I hope that helped explain the process that I'm going through as far as laying out the holes for the frame, moving the axle forward, and reattaching everything. Now we get to transition into the time-lapse footage of me actually drilling the holes and moving everything forward. So I hope you enjoy that. At the end of that, we're going to talk about the back of the frame here and these hinges. So I got this lift mechanism. It's a 10-ton lift mechanism. I got it from Tough Tools or tooltough.com. It came with the pump and everything. I'll show you that in a minute. I went ahead and bobbed it off here. I went 6 inches. I went 6 inches behind the spring mount, and I also added this 1/4 inch by 3 inch piece of angle, along with some gussets. You know, I'm really bad about looking at what I'm doing, but I'm like holding the camera way the fuck over here somewhere. So that's one of the things that really irritates me about people that make videos. And I understand it's just a human trait. You're thinking and you're looking, but you're not paying attention to where the camera's looking. And it really makes the one-handed work videos just gruesome to watch. I don't even watch them. As soon as I see that they're using one hand to hold the camera, and they're trying their damnedest to get something done with one hand that takes 2 hands to do, I just turn the video off and watch something else, because it's really distracting to watch. I don't know if they realize it, but I realize it, so I'm stopping this video here and I'm getting my damn tripod out. Let's clean that lens off right there. That's better. All right. So I did something a little different. Like the last truck, I machined some bushings to weld into the side of the frame, and I made a pin that went all the way through it, an 1.5 inch pin that went all the way through both sides, and then I made the hinges that went on the bed. This time I bought a kit, and it came with instructions, so I've been trying to follow the instructions and add a little bit here to make it a little bit better. But what I did is I took a piece of well, first I did a rabbet on the frame. I cut back here, and then I cut down 1 inch. And the reason I went with the 1 inch is because this hinge from bottom to top is 4 inches tall, and the subframe that I'm going to build for this, it's basically a landing point for the bed. It doesn't actually have any structural value to the lifting mechanism of the dump body. It basically just gives the bed a resting point, and it raises the bed up a certain amount to allow for clearance, because the hydraulic scissor lift that I'm putting on here, it's like 11 3/4 inches tall, and so in order for me to get the clearance from underneath the bottom of the bed, I have to raise it up. So basically this subframe that I'm building is just a spacer and a bit of a cushion for the bed when it comes down to land on, so it's not landing directly on the frame. All right, so this is what the subframe is going to be made out of. It's 2x2. Basically, it's just going to be a spacer. I want to position it so that it's flush with the outside of the frame, and there will be strapping that I'm going to weld here. It's going to be I think I got 1/4 inch. So 1/4 inch strapping is going to come down. It's going to get bolted onto the side, and hopefully I can put it in places where there's already holes in the frame, so I don't have to drill any more holes in it. Anyway, it's going to be bolted to the side of the frame. Like I said, this is not going to be structural at all. It's basically just a spacer for this way this hinge mechanism works. So the hinge is going to sit here. It'll bolt, or not bolt, but it'll get welded into place. I'll put a root weld in on the bottom here, and then I'll put 2 overlapping welds to tie it in. You can't see it, but there's a gap right here, and I'm going to weld in with the stick welder across here to make sure the front's tied in. I'm going to do the same thing, root and 2 overlapping welds back here, a root, 2 overlapping welds back here. So this will be securely mounted to what I've got welded already. Now, this is a piece of 1 by 2 inch rectangular tubing, just 1/8 inch wall. This is going to represent the piece of wood, because I do have the wood, but they're 16 feet long and I'm not dragging it all the way over here for this. So this is just basically a mock-up so that you can see about how thick it's actually going to end up being. And as you can see, that's relatively flush with the top of the hinge. Now, and so that pretty much sums it up for where we're at this stage. The next video, it's going to be me actually building this subframe here. That's what's going to be next. And then you'll get to see how that's made. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.